Hey there everyone, and welcome back to React.js training. Now for all those people who are already into the course, this is a fun section. We are going to design a single app, a YouTube app, in just one video. I know the video is going to be a little bit long, but we'll do it in just one video. Now for all those people who are watching this in YouTube, there is a separate course going on with a full-fledged 10 apps along with the React basics. So go ahead, check that out. Link is in the description. But coming back onto the point, before I move on, there are a couple of points in here. Number one point, I tried to make this app live on the YouTube, but streaming was really bad. So I'm uploading a video for that. And this is just a fun app. Okay. Point number two, this is going to be no editing, no cut short, because I'm just going to be walking you with the experience of how the programmer face errors, problems, try to debug them, and all of these things. Okay. Now, a lot of people are going to complain that why were you not prepared in advance and all these things. Let me tell you a fact that when we write the code, it's okay to have problem. That's not end of the world. Problems will be there. What makes you a programmer is how you are able to handle that and solve that problem. Okay. So let's go in here. This is our very first boilerplate code, which we have generated so many times. In case you are not aware of it, it's just the installation part in here. Install a node module and npm install -g create React app. By the way, in case you are new in here, make sure that you install it with the administrative permissions on Windows and sudo permissions on a Mac. Okay. And this command will be installed and generate a project hello world, just like that. I have created YouTube. It just gives you a boilerplate code which looks like this. Then you can run on the terminal npm start after going into the folder, and there we go, we are ready. Okay, basics done. Now let's go in here. Now let's delete this guy, and we will be creating a new folder in here, new file basically, that will be called as youtube.js. Again, it's in a convention to use the uppercase letter there. Okay, and let's just quickly have import of the React, and we need component as well, and that all will be coming up from React. Good so far. Okay, and in case you might have already installed the snippets that I've given you in the course, then things should be breeze for you. So you can simply say rcom there. Oops, not like that, rcom, and there you go, you have got a class boilerplate code there. And the next thing that we'll be doing is naming our class, which we'll be calling it as YouTube. It's a convention, not compulsory to just name the class exactly there, but it's good that you follow up this convention. And I'll be saying I am from YouTube. YouTube is a fun way. Okay, and now our job is to import this file into app.js. Okay, so how do we do that? It's pretty simple. You just call it as import, and what you want to import is YouTube, and that will be coming up from YouTube. Okay, and don't forget to use a / there. Semicolon would be nice as well. There we go. And now in order to get this component, what we have to do is call the component. Okay, you must be pro in that by now. So there we go, YouTube. Make sure it's a self-closing tag. Now, by the way, what you're seeing in here is JSX. It might look like an HTML. Basically, it's HTML, but you know, technically it's JSX. Okay, and we should be seeing the stuff on a React. And I made a typo there. I made a typo, and it's not from, it's from. Okay, and by the way, I forgot to export the class as well. These things happens, no big deal. And that's gonna be, oops, default. Come on, write it to default YouTube, and things should be good. And it says I'm from YouTube. Okay, so quickly we have created a component and we have called it in here. I would call it as good progress so far. Let's now move it ahead and talk about more things. Okay, now next thing that I want you to do is go on to YouTube and search for a very tough name, which is really hard to spell, but this is it. Okay, and go ahead, use any of the video, like for example, this is the live session I tried there, but again, let's just go and use something like, what should we like to use? This cat video is nice and lovely. We are going to use this. Okay, and I'm going to pause this before I speak loudly in there. And what we want in here from here is share and embed, and we want this iframe there. Okay, so that basically what we are trying to do in this app is We want to make an automated generated app that fetches the API of the YouTube and brings up everything from the YouTube on our page. We will be displaying the top 10 latest upload on our page. We don't need to do anything manually. It is automatically going to fetch whatever the latest is being uploaded on our web page. Okay, and I'll give you a few assignments as well. So let's go in here, and in my YouTube, in this division, I wanted this iframe to be there. Save that, and this should be seeing a little promo there. Good, not bad, I would say. But there are a couple of problems, and you might haven't noticed that. That's okay. It's completely okay to ignore them at first. Now right click and go onto the inspect and look into the console. You can see 2 warnings are there. Now what are these warnings here? Let me just show you. It's always good to read the warnings. Make sure you read it properly. It says, did you mean frame border? Did you mean allow full screen? So what it's saying is that the tags that you're using, frame border and allow screen, since it's not HTML, it's JSX, it has got a little bit different syntax. So B in border is capital and allow full and screens. So F and S are used in caps. Save that, and let's clear the console, hit the reload, and things are good now. A pretty common mistake and pretty common error to just skip there. I'll just break the line with frame border and allow screen so that it's on just one line. It's not one big line going till the end there. Good, we are happy so far. By the way, I'm not that much happy with the CSS in here. I know we shouldn't be focusing on CSS in here, but hey, I cannot bear with this CSS in here, so I would be throwing up some CSS, not much, don't worry. And let's choose some colors. So we'll be using flatuicolor.com, one of my favorite website, and let's just choose this blue. Okay, we won't be wasting much time in here. So background color would be this guy. Save that. How does that look? Better? Much better, I would call that. And let's give this division a couple of things and change that. I would like to give this division a class name, this YouTube guy, this division, and make sure you also understand that it's not just the class there in the CSS. Class is reserved keyword, so we need to go with the class name. And there we go, class name. I'll call this as YouTube division or YouTube class. Okay, let's go into app.css and define a few rules for YouTube class. Okay, what we should have now, first of all, we should have some border. I think border will be nice. Let's have 2 pixel green. I know green is not a good word. I should be using some hexadecimal, but bear with me. Okay, now let's go ahead and green, and that would be dashed. Okay, pretty simple border. And can you reload that? And it's barely visible. If I make it red, will it be visible? And in the screencasting, it's hard to see these borders. Let me make it 3 pixel, and I think this should be visible. Not the best color on the world, but since I'm in here, I can choose up some color. Okay, I think midnight blue would be good. Let's just make sure we have some good colors there. Better, much better, don't you think so? Let's add a few things as well more, and let's add a margin of, I think it's already centered, but we don't need margin 0 and auto. We don't need it, we can work that. I would like to add a margin top there, and 20 pixel would be good, I think. Oops, there we go. And yep, we are ready to rock and roll with this guy. So our CSS part is good. Now what I want you to do is add a button. Now obviously I know you might want to just generate all these YouTube videos as soon as the component loads up. We'll talk about the lifecycle method maybe some other day. In case you are in the course, I'll give you as an assignment because you have already studied the component lifecycle. Okay, it's nothing much, just moving all the files into component did mount or component will mount, whatever you like. Okay, so let's just do one more thing in here. Now in the YouTube, we want a button there. So where should be this button be going? Okay, that's a question. That's a good question actually. And I think we can just move this button just there. So let's just have a button, close this button, and we will say something like get YouTube videos. Get YouTube videos. Save that. How does it look? Really, really bad. No big deal. And what I would like to do in here is keep this button at the top. So I would be adding a new division there, just for the styling purposes. No big deal. And division there and that, and move this button at the top there. And there we go. Now it looks good. Let's just do a few properties on the button as well. I know we shouldn't be focusing much on the CSS. This is not a CSS class, but again, with some of the things, it's okay. Okay. So let's just call this as a button. And what we should do on the button, first of all, there should be some margin, and let's just, not the left margin, come on. Margin from all the sides should be 10 pixels. How that works? Pretty not so good. Decently okay. We should have some internal padding so that the button looks bigger, and padding would be 10 pixel and 20 pixel. I think this should be good. Let's increase the font size as well to 20 pixel. Just randomly thinking, not thinking much there. Okay. And background color should be, let's just choose some good colors. Okay. And I think this carrot will look good. And there we go. Save that. How does that look? Decently okay. We won't be focusing. Let's just not do much in here. So now things are good. Now what we want to do, now comes the fetching part. I know this is a long video, but bear with me. So now what we want to do is mess around with the APIs in here. Okay. So this is the API that we are working in here. Let me zoom there a little bit. It's developer.google.com/youtube/v3/docs/search. I know that's a big one, but that's what we have. Going back in here, you would also need a API key as well, which you can get by signing up there. I will be giving you my key there. Don't just misuse that, just for the testing purposes, and get your own keys. Okay, and this is kind of an object you will be receiving in here. By the way, there are a lot of other options in here. We are going into the search and overview. This is the object we are looking for. Okay, you can work on to a lot of things. And if I go in here, this is the entire URL that you get in here, and we'll be breaking down this URL in here. So let's just copy this. And by the way, I'll be posting down this project onto the GitHub as well, so that it becomes good for you. Now let's just go back in here and try to break down this URL. Okay, so let's just paste that and paste that. I know that's a big massive URL. Okay, so notice closely there is an API key there which goes from here to here. So this is our API key. Notice we do have a channel ID as well. I have already placed my channel ID. You can get any channel ID in here. And then it says end part snippet and ID order. So all these are variables that you can set up. Right now we don't need to. And it says max result equals 10. So we'll be breaking it down into constants and variables, so that if we want to change out anything, we can just quickly do that. Or maybe want to add more components who are responsible for loading, let's just say 5 videos, 10 videos, you can just give it a counter there. Okay. So first of all, let's break down with API. So this is my API. So API would be, let's just cut it down. So this, make sure you don't just cut it there. It's complete API. And I think it's still A. Okay. And yep, let's just cut that out and paste it in here. Okay. And next thing that we'll be doing is channel ID. So const channel ID. And I think channel ID, this is good. Again, we'll be making a string out of that. Channel ID goes from here till the end. Okay, let's just cut that out. And there we go, channel ID. Now the last part that we need is how many results you need. Okay, so we're going to have const result, and that should be 10. And we are looking for this guy, max result in here. Okay, 10. Now let's just try to make our own URL there, and we'll be making this URL. So you'll love this thing. So this is going to be our final URL. And how we're going to make this is with the backticks. Okay. And these are template string, also known as template string, but these are much, I think it's better way of doing the things. So let's just select this from the key equals, cut that out and paste it in here. Now, in order, when you want to add some variables or constant, all you have to do is use a $sign and then a pair of parentheses, and inside that you can write API. So basically it's like copy and pasting this thing in here. Okay. After that, we have got and channel ID equals. Let's just cut that and paste that again. And again, we need to insert a variable. So dollar and this guy looks good. Now let's just copy channel ID, copy that and paste that your variable. Okay, that is good. And finally, the last part, this is again, everything is string till equal, cut that. And what we will be doing is paste that again. Now again, we need to insert a variable. So $sign, and there we go. And we are looking this time for result. So copy that and let's just paste it down there. I know this is a little bit off the process, not the easiest one, but yes, this is a good process. Now, what you can do, you can bring down channel ID from the user and can set it into a variable. Later on, you can just get, instead of 10 results, you want 20 results, you can get that. So this is a good idea to have that. Now, also what I'll be doing, I'll be giving you this link again. We have just deleted that, and paste that and comment that. Why I'm doing it? Because maybe you want to repeat this process again. Okay, so that is why I'm giving it. This is good. Now let's just see if our things are working good there. Okay, so we'll be doing is let's just console log this. So I'll go in here and inside the rendering, I want to log this final URL and save that. Go back in here, React app. Let's just see if this URL that we have made is correct or not. And in the console, looks okay. If I click on that, it opens up and gives me the things again. So it's always good to check out things constantly so that later on you don't have to spend time in debugging. I'll comment that out. I don't like much of the console looks there, but it's okay. So now that our URL is good, now what we want to do, next step would be, now your URL is completely broken down into the things. Now what you want to do is fetch the things from the internet. And again, this is a JSON. In case you didn't got how the things are looking, let me just copy everything from here. And there are a lot of editors. One of my favorite one is just Json Editor Online, in which I can paste these all things and can click on this button and it gives me. So you can see in this JSON in here is we got an object. Inside the object, we have got a lot of other options. So in the page info, not in the page info, in the items, we're getting 10 arrays there. And inside the array, we are getting ID. Inside the ID, we are getting a video ID. And this is the unique ID that we are looking for. When you watch a video, this is the unique ID that we are looking for. And then we'll be creating an URL from it, and we'll be replacing it with this iframe. I know a lot of things we have to do, but let's not get ahead of ourselves, one thing at a time. Okay. So what would be next step? I think the next step would be to create a constructor. That would be good approach there, because when the things will be coming up from the web API, we don't have any method such to just verify how. Let me just put it in this way. First, let me just try to do constructor. So what I'm saying in here is this dot state in the React. The one good way of handling the promises, or you don't know when the things are going to come up from the web. It may take up 10 seconds or maybe 5 seconds or fraction of second. So one good way of doing is update the state whenever the data is being coming up, and later on do everything from the state. Okay. So in the state, what we'll be doing is, let's just call this as result YT because it's coming from YouTube, and that is going to be an array. Okay. If we will need more variable, that's what we have. But what I want to do in here is when the data comes from a JSON request, I want to store all of that array inside in here. Or in fact, maybe I'll compose an entire link and we'll store that into this array. We may need a couple of more variables, but I'm not pretty sure. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Okay, so one problem is solved where we are going to keep our data. Now, how we are going to get the data? That is interesting. We could have loaded up things. We could have called a function from component will mount, but I'll give you that as an assignment. Right now, I want to run a click method on the button. Okay, so it's gonna say on click, and when on click is being done, I'm gonna say this dot clicked, if I can type that properly. And next thing that we always like to do, in this case, we can just skip it by calling dot bind in here, but I think one good way of doing this is inside the constructor. So according to the recent guidelines, it's being, this is the step that you always have to do. You have to bind it with this. Okay, that is good. Now it's going to throw up an error. Let me just show you what the error is. And React app, this is the error. The error is shouting because we don't have any method in here that says click. So let's create one. Clicked, and there we go. And we're going to just log in simply like clicked. Save that. And let's just see in the console log if we can grab that. Console, it's having a problem. Okay, final URL is assigned but never used. We'll use it, don't worry buddy, and it says clicked. Okay, we are making a progress there. I know this is being 21 minutes, but we are making a progress, good progress there. Okay, now let's just try to write the things. Now let me show you how you can fetch the data from an API. Now there are a couple of ways. There is one Axios, and Axios, come on guy, Axios in React. There we go. NPM. So this is actually a good way of handling the APIs. You can just simply install the Axios and then simply can import it, just like we have imported the YouTube axios.get, and then you can handle the promise. .then and .catch. .then says good things comes in here, .catch says bad thing goes in here. But there is another way, and that is actually fetch React.js docs, and it's actually inside the networking. I think it's inside the React Native. They have mentioned it in the React Native in the networking docs. Yep, in the network. There we go. You might be thinking that this is a React Native code, but it works really great in this guy. So this is the function that you have to work on with. You get a fetch there, then you simply say .response there, .json, then you say .then response JSON, and there you go. That's it. So why don't we do one thing? We just copy everything from fetch to this guy, and let's just modify it according to our need. Okay, makes sense. And let's just go in here and paste that everything. Okay, now inside the fetch, we don't want to fetch anything movies from the JSON, so I'll get rid of this guy. We don't need you. And we're going to use final URL. Okay, that's good. Now final URL response is going to be response.json. This line needs to be there. This is kind of a promise you are handling. And now let's just remove this line. We don't need to return anything as of now. Let's just log what we are getting in response JSON. I think this is a good point to test out the things. Yep, because we are making a call there. Okay. And this looks okay. Let's just see if we can make some progress. And open up our inspect and console log. And as I click on this guy, and there we go. Pretty good. Just in one flow. And I know this is not something surprising. I don't expect my code to run it the first time. Okay, there we go. We get entire object there. And I think I can zoom it out a little bit. And then in the items, we get these kinds of arrays and all of these things. Now, next goal is inside the items, we want to get into the ID. We want to get video ID. Okay. So this is the next stuff. Okay. Let's just do one step at a time. So we have console log there, and this is good so far. Okay. Now, instead of console logging these things, what I would like to do is comment this guy, and I would be storing the result into result YT state there. And again, whenever you need to store anything into the state variable, you don't just do a style yt equals. You do this dot set state. Very important. Okay, so we are going to create a constant there, and I'll name it as result yt. Kind of a convention, you can name it anything. And we're going to call response json dot item. Okay, items, by the way, in case you forgot that, it's items. Let me just show you in here. Where is our JSON? There we go. It's actually items. Okay, make sure you get that. One mistake and can lead you over a headaches of for 2 hours, 3 hours. And in the items, since it's an array, I would like to use a map, not AMP. And map is responsible for looping through the things. Okay, so we're going to do an object there, and this object is, oops, not just like that. What we want to do is, let's just see if we can go into each. So this map is going to rotate through the entire array. And now this object, I can go into each individual array. It will handle things for me. And I can go for dot ID. What is next part? I forgot that. Inside the items, we have to go in each array and go into ID. And we have to get this video ID. Okay, dot video. I guess I was capital. Yep, I was in the caps. ID. Okay, looks good so far. And we want to store this state into this entire thing into our constructor, this dot state. Okay, so we're gonna say this dot set state. Okay, looks good. And we are gonna say result yt. Now, by the way, this is a shorthand in the ES6. You could have also done this like this, but I'll just go with a shorter. This is shorter. This is cleaner. Okay, now this is good. And also, I would like to show what's there in the result yt. So I'll simply call a log there, and I will be calling this dot state dot result yt. Okay, let's just see where we are going. It's okay to test out the things quite often. And let's just inspect that and go into log, hit this guy. Okay, so we can see that this time when we are logging, we are getting an array there. This array is having all the IDs there. Okay, and there we go. And in fact, we did one mistake that we are logging it in here. We should be logging it somewhere else so that we can see actually what's coming up. And let's just cut that from in here, and let's just call this in here rendering. Save that, and as we log in, notice it's an empty right now. As I click on this, now it fills up. So this is good. Now it's filling up. Okay, that's good. So you can see automatically it calls up 2 times. One as soon as the component loads up, and one when the state is being changed. So good thing for us. Okay, making good progress there, but I want to do it one more step ahead, because obviously I can see this ID, where this ID is actually going. In the meantime, this ID will go in here in our this guy. So this is what we have to replace. And it would be much better if I just create the entire link in here and store that into the array. I think that would be a smarter move. But again, you can later on replace that with the variable just with the ID. But I would like to go with this way. Okay, so all you have to do, okay, how we are going to move that is copy this from embedded, copy that. And we are obviously storing the things into this array with this single fat arrow function. And I'd like to put a double quotes there, paste that in here, and a plus. Okay, so all I'm doing is not just storing the last ID, I'm making an entire link with just formatting there and then storing that. Let's just save that and quickly show you that previously it was this guy. And now as I get YouTube, notice I'm having a big array there with the links being made up. Okay, very quickly we have made up a link, and I think it's good progress. Okay, so now things are in our final this dot state, and we need to somehow call these things. Okay, so Again, map function is going to be useful for us because it's an array and we are going to do up the things like that. And I think rest of the code looks good so far. And now let's just see where we want to do the things. I think we should be doing the things in this guy. Okay. In order to do these things, you have to use curly braces. Okay. Now, after the curly braces, we are going to say this dot state to access the state. And we are going to use result yt. So now we are accessing the array result yt. Good. Let's just use a map, not amp. Come on. And again, this rotates through the entire array. And you can use two things in here. The one is going to be the links. Let me use this guy because these, let me just show you. You can use one variable as well, but bear with me just for a second. And there we go. Now, what I'm trying to do in here is that already you can get everything from the link, just like we have got everything from the object. But there is one more variable that you need to pass on there. There is I. And this I holds the unique index value of that array. And kind of a React.js complains when you don't provide this as a key value. Okay, let me just don't get ahead of ourselves. We'll talk about that later on. Okay, and now let's just log if we can log the links. Okay, link, and there we go. And will it be working? And will it be working? Nope, because we are not calling it in here. Okay, that is good. That is okay. And what I want to do is now, this is good, this is fine. I want to create a variable there. And what we can do is, let's just call this as var frame. Okay, call it anything. And inside this, okay, what I want to do. Okay, now it would be good if I just move this because otherwise everything will merge out in just one division. So let me move this of my code outside this division. Now it's better. And now this frame will have an iframe. So I'll cut this out. Oops, Command Z. I need all of it. And in fact, I can just remove these line breaks that I've made there. Frame border is good. I wanted all of this in one line. And there we go. Looks good. Now I can just cut that out and can assign it to my variable. Now, only thing that I'll be doing in here, oops. And let me just cut that out as well. I know there is a little bit formatting going on, but bear with me. So all I want to do is now I do have an access of this link. So I'll be replacing this src guy with my variable link. Okay. So how I can do that is really simple. I have to delete this and I have to use curly braces and I have to call it link. Okay, looks good so far. And now what I want to do is I want to get this YouTube division as well. So I'll cut this out. So in every loop, I'm producing a new division now. Okay, I hope you get that. Pretty easy. Cut that. It's all about formatting there. So what I'm doing, whenever the loop just generates there, I'm generating a new division there. I could have generated just a frame there, but it would be inside a giant division and they would be messy and clumsy in it. When I create an entire division, since the division is a block level element, then it's going to be simply doing a block there. Okay, so I'm throwing out the frame there. Now, the only thing that I have to do, and a lot of people just mess around with their, let me just do this error first of all, because I know a lot of you might be spending a lot of time in here with this error. And you might be thinking, hey, frame is now ready. All you have to do is use this guy and simply say this dot frame. So we are just printing out our variable. And since our variable is holding everything, it should be working. Now let me show you a quick magic there. And by the way, the thing I was talking about, it complains in here as you reload. A lot of complaints are there that frame is assigned, but value is never used and expected to return a value in function, all these. Let me just show you what it means. And first of all, it's inside, where should I put it? Inside the frame, actually. This is the guy key I was talking about. Just kind of a formatting that you have to do. This I needs to go in here, otherwise it just shouts, okay? And you can see as you click on the get YouTube, nothing happens in here. Although your things are loading up, your links are displayed, but nothing is. This is because this map function needs to return something. Okay. Now here we are not returning anything because we don't need to. We just want to set the state and that's it. We have done. Otherwise, most of the time when you want to throw it some values, you need to use return. So use return and just throw it back. Save that. Okay, let's just see, get YouTube videos, and there we go. Our videos are popping up. Okay, we do have some problems, and each child of an array is an iterator should have a unique key. Come on, I have give you a unique key. What more you want? And in div, in YouTube. Okay, you want that into the div, I think so. Let's just cut that out and paste it inside the division. You wanted a division, you get it in division. And let's clear that. If it is happy, looks happy, and there we go. Let's just have a final look. I know this is being over 30-minute video, but hey, we are making a progress and we have created a pretty damn cool app. And there we go. Now if I reload, this guy doesn't do anything. When I click on that, it runs my function there and call up the latest 10 videos in here. Now let me show you why we have done an extra step in the URL. Let's just say you said, hey, I don't need 10. 10 is too big. I just need 5. You can just call it a 5 there. You just click there and you get only 5 videos. Okay, so that's an advantage. Maybe later on you want that I want to create another component from which I can get the value that how many videos user need there, and I want to assign a value there. And obviously now the control is in the user's hand and he can actually decide whether he wants to go. You want another channel ID there? Go ahead, put their channel ID. I would recommend my channel ID, by the way. But again, if you need any other channel ID, you can just go in there. You want, let's just say 20. Hey, no problem at all. It's gonna fetch you 20 videos within no time. And there we go. There we go. A lot of videos. Nice, awesome videos that teaches you a lot. Very active on your YouTube, guys. Okay. And I think this is it for this. And obviously we can move it ahead, but let me give you a few assignments as well. Whether you are on the YouTube or maybe inside the course, wherever you are, I would love to give you assignment. And please show me what you have got in the assignment. Okay, now your job is really simple. So far we have been running this entire code with a click of a button. Now I want you to modify this entire project in somehow a manner that we don't need to click any values. As soon as the component loads up on the screen, these all values should be fetched up. Okay, hint, you will need a component lifecycle method. Okay, and just remove this button. We want everything to be automatic. That's assignment number 1. Now assignment number 2 is really simple as well. Now as soon as you do this, once the component loads, the second assignment is make an input tag in here which should have numeric values. User can just click and can increase the values, and based on what the current value is, these values should be loaded up. Now again, you need to change the states and everything based on what the value is. You will be doing something on value change and these things. I know you can do this if you have been into the course and you have completed that and have reached to this project. I'm pretty sure everybody will be able to do that within a breeze. This shouldn't be a tough job for you. So this is our cool app in the React.js that we have built up. Of course, I'll be pushing up this code onto the GitHub. You'll find the link in the description if you are on the YouTube. If you are in the course, get access to the official repo on the GitHub. You can just download it. And that's it for this video. Thank you for staying for 40 minutes. In case you think that this video is awesome and it can be helpful for somebody, don't forget to share about it, subscribe to the channel as well, and keep enjoying the courses.